I guess while we're waiting, probably wouldn't have to recite this again. I'll conduct a meeting and we're gonna go by Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Procedure. What we'll do is, we'll take nominations, okay? And if there's no more than one nomination, there's no vote. The person's in, it's over. And we're gonna start with Secretary, Treasurer, Vice President, and President, okay? Now, if there's more than one candidate, according to Robert's Rules, it has to go to secret ballot, Australian style. And what we'll do is, we already have the ballots. We'll put down the candidate that we want, and those ballots are collected and immediately counted, and the winner is announced, and we go on to the next one. Excuse me? Okay.
One problem, if you have someone who's nominated as only one person, and the vote of the board to vote that person not,
I didn't hear you, Michelle.
you have one nomination, and the board votes for it, which you have to vote for, and you have 5 that don't want the person, and 4 that do.
If only one person is nominated, he is elected to the office by acclamation.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay.
There's no need to second any.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't forget, after the nomination, you must say all nominations are closed.
Nominations are closed this time, right? Nominations are closed.
And please ask them if they accept the nomination. Mr.
And
President?
I'll do that.
Okay.
Good idea.
But I have a assistant, so it won't be, you'll assist me on that, right?
I'll assist you.
I don't have the book in front of me, but I have someone
Who will count the
who's
ballots?
knowledgeable of Robert's Rules of
We do
Procedure.
need somebody to appoint a
Okay,
judge ballot.
that's the other thing. We're gonna need, I want 3 people to count the ballots. Maureen will be one, and we need 2 others. Do we have Stuart and Lisa? Okay, so we have 3 people to count the ballots. Very good. But you need 2 people. We'll give them another few minutes.
He's parking,
Okay,
okay?
7:45, it's 7:40, so we'll start the meeting when he comes in. Thank you for all coming, and I'll always wait for you. It's important that everybody. You have to have all, you gotta get this thing right. And it's gonna go pretty quickly, so if it's all right, after we adjourn, we can sit around and answer questions. Anybody has anything they'd like to talk about, I'll hang around. If anybody else wants to go, that's fine, but I'll hang around and take questions and answer them as best we can on any topic. Is that all right with you guys, or you want to
He said he was parking right.
I don't know if he meant he was parking at the Inverrary Diner, or... Oh, here he is. Mazel tov. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Next time we tell you it's a 7 o'clock meeting and you'll still be late. Sorry.
It is 7:41. I call this meeting to order. This is the organizational meeting of the Board of Directors. Do we have a roll call?
Michael Schenkel,
Here.
Charles Fitzpatrick,
Here.
Francis Mesereau, here, Terry Chisigny,
Here.
Jennifer Maloney, here, Dan Coco,
Here.
Doug Myers,
Here.
Ed Kaufman,
Here.
and Doug Wolf.
Here.
Okay,
All are present.
all present, and we have a quorum. The first order of business is the nomination for secretary. I now open nominations for secretary.
I nominate.
I'd like to nominate
Wait a
Fran.
minute, one at a time.
I the first.
I think Michael's hand was up first.
Yeah,
but
Francis Mesereau.
Oh, okay, I'm just trying to be neutral.
Are there any more nominations?
Ask Francis,
Hold on.
ask Francis if she's going to accept the nomination.
Francis, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, thank you.
I'll nominate Doug Wolf, secretary.
Doug Wolf.
Second.
wait.
We don't need to
Doug
second.
Wolf, do you leave?
Doug Wolf, do you accept the nomination?
Oh, that's my final answer.
Are there any other nominations at this time? I hereby close the nominations and we go to vote.
You didn't talk to your girl. You don't talk to Joey.
I did.
Here, let's meet over.
Maureen, do you have another time? I mean, the one that we're back.
It's secret.
One thing, Maureen will collect the ballots.
Poor guy coming over here.
Go sit in my chair.
Who's the third county?
Yeah, but I didn't want to take away from the whole time.
Maybe a slight conflict of interest being the source counting the votes, but I think we can count on it.
That's the dog. This is the dog. Okay.
I'll use this at the end.
So 3 here and. Three there and 1. Should be 6. 6. We agree? Yes. 6 and 3.
Could you bring me the?
Here's the tally, but I need the paper back.
Okay. The vote is 6-3. Doug Wolf is the secretary.
Congratulations, Doug.
Congratulations.
I now open the nomination for the office of treasurer.
I wish to nominate Charles Fitzpatrick for treasurer.
Charles Fitzpatrick, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Are there any other nominations at this time?
Yeah, I wish to nominate Ed Kaufman.
Ed Kaufman, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Are there any other nominations at this time? I hereby close the nominations for the office of treasurer.
No, it needs a bigger one. It needs a bigger one.
20 ounces.
Stu, sit down.
Yell out one at a time. Ed, you got one at a time. Ed is 1, 2, 3. Charles is 1. 4.
Versus 4. We agree? Yes, he's already agreed with us. Any guesses?
Okay? Yeah, okay.
You want me to hold it from here?
We have, I just want to make sure I was reading the right thing, okay. We have a winner, of course. There could be a tie of some people's thing. But the vote was 5-4. Ed Kaufman is the treasurer. At this time, congratulations. At this time, I open the nomination for the office of vice president.
I nominate Douglas Myers for the office of Vice President.
Doug Myers,
I
Do you
don't
accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Are there any other
Yeah.
nominations?
Francis Mesereau?
Francis, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, thank you.
Are there any other nominations at this time? I hereby close the nomination for vice president.
No, I think my vote is done. Oh, you're done. Oh, you're just quick.
Francis is a one.
This is the one also?
Doug, two. Doug, four. Francis, two. Francis, three. So we have 1, 2, 3 for Francis versus 6. Brings her here, huh?
By a vote of 6-3, Douglas Myers is vice president.
Speech.
Okay.
I don't even know, am I allowed to do
Give a
this?
speech.
I hereby,
No,
no, okay. Doug Myers, you can take over from here, you're the vice president.
no. You can continue. You can
I can
continue.
continue?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, because you're conducting this as past president.
Okay.
Oh, you're current president.
At this time, I will take nominations for the office of president.
I nominate Terry Tersigni for the office of president.
I accept. Are there any other nominations at this time? There are no other nominations. Okay. Now on to the second, number 4 of the second order of business, the scheduling of the board of director meetings for 2011. Just by speaking with all the other members on the board, it seems that, but we'll discuss it, it seems that Monday evenings would be the most convenient time, okay? Wednesday was the other time, but it conflicts with bingo. And we would like a larger audience to conduct the meeting, so we could conduct it in the larger room. Monday evenings at 7:30. Would that be all right with everybody? I guess we have to.
I prefer the traditional Tuesday, but we've had them for the last 20 years.
I like Monday. I'm a
I
fan
like
of Monday.
We'll take I guess we'll have to take a vote on it then.
Third.
Okay. Take a roll call for Mondays. The third, and it's the third Monday of each month,
Third Monday of each month?
yeah. Beginning with this month.
Right.
So, we'll take a roll call for Mondays first.
Would just ask if anyone's,
Well, there is.
For Monday.
But we still, if there's
Oh,
even
you need a
one,
whole roll call?
we have to
Okay.
do the roll call.
Michael Schenkel?
No.
Charles Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Francis Mesereau?
Yes.
Terry Trisigny?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Yeah, point of order and information.
You need to
No,
make
you
a,
need to
somebody
make a
needs to make a
motion.
motion,
Okay,
somebody
I
needs to
make
Go
a-
back to making motions now and seconding the motions,
Okay.
and then you vote,
Okay.
after the discussion.
ask for if anyone will make a motion.
That's right, I have to ask.
The organizational meeting is a little different in form than a regular meeting, because it doesn't need to be quite that formal, but you're correct.
Once you get away from appointing, members to the new board, executive board, in those positions, then you're back to a regular meeting, because now you're back to a regular agenda item.
So
Only my opinion.
do I have a motion to hold meetings on a Monday?
Third Monday
Third Monday
Of each month. at 7:30.
At 7:30.
I do so move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Jennifer seconding the motion.
Now you can move forward.
Now we can move to a vote. Roll call, please.
Michael Schenkel?
Here?
Yes or no?
voting on it.
Are you sure?
No. Chelsea Patrick.
Yes.
Francis Mesro.
Yes.
Terry Trissigny.
Yes.
Jim Maloney.
Yes.
Daniel Coco.
Yes.
Doug Myers.
Yes.
Ed Kaufman.
Yes.
And Doug Wolf.
Yes.
So, motion carried. We will have the board meetings on the third Monday of each month at 7:30.
Can you ask you one question?
Yes.
Why are you doing every third month? Every,
Tradition.
Tradition, we've always
no,
done.
what is the tradition? Why we don't do it every first week in the month? In the month. What's the?
Well, the first week is
No,
already
but
passed,
never.
George.
Because
No,
we'll
no,
have
no.
the reason, a good reason not to have it on the first week is we won't have the financials until the 15th.
Oh, all right.
That's the reason.
And the financial management company wants to come to our next board meeting.
And
Thank
we're-
you.
and we should be pretty current with the help of Dr. Richard.
Oh, there's no question.
So, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
This Myers makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it. Does anybody want to, say anything you want?
But we'll have the discussion. We're gonna have the discussion after this. Anybody opposed? I hereby adjourn this meeting. 7:54. Okay, now we're gonna have a discussion. Any questions? And anybody can ask anything they want. To any board member about anything.
I have reason to believe that if we install Wi-Fi in every building, it will save many unit owners including myself, between, give or take, $15 and $40 a month. I also understand, and Michael will correct me on this, I was told that the Wi-Fi for the clubhouse, the monthly charge for that is $8 a month. If that's correct, or even close, then there is no reason we can't have Wi-Fi in every single building. It's certainly more important than biometrics in every building.
As far as I know, the cost is zero.
You're correct,
Zero?
Michael.
Zero.
What, we get it as part of the package that we have
That's AT&T,
through
right?
AT&T.
Why wouldn't we do it then?
Yeah.
Even if it's not zero, even if it's $8, it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Because now everyone
Even if
individually
it
is
was
paying.
$8.
What do you use
That's
AT&T for?
Our phones,
That's true.
What is it?
Wait, it's the
for our
radio.
elevators,
Oh,
for
you're
our
right.
alarms.
Price is right.
Maureen.
Yeah, you're right.
You have a large
AT&T
building,
Wi-Fi
it's
is
crap.
slow.
you gotta be security passport out.
And
Now,
why can't we make
Comcast.
it
Somebody does a criminal act.
Yeah.
It's hit the network, and then you're gonna be, you can't track it to that person. Okay? That's why you probably, I understand you have a great point there. It's not, I deal with computer business, stuff, et cetera.
It's a problem.
But yeah, Bert and all them, I have password out. You cannot have a whole community, a corporation could do, they're their own known network.
This is a corporation.
Yeah, but when you have individuals, homeowners like that, I can go to a porn site.
Can I say something about that? We already had in the Yorkshire building a child pornography incident, so that might be really bad for the
That's only,
community.
yeah, exactly.
FBI
We had the
team.
same problem in the clubhouse
remember that.
with the computer there. There was
Yeah.
problems, okay?
So,
Major problems. It's not as easy as what you think, and there's a lot more to it. That's why we didn't do it before.
So having individual connections keeps us away from pornography?
Yeah, I don't understand. Why I don't see the
No,
connection.
the village itself would be responsible for all those people on that Wi-Fi, because they're not gonna be able to track it back to them.
Ah.
they can't track the IP
You
address.
say you can't track it down to where it originally.
But it's not gonna be more or less pornography on account
Wow.
So what, that pertains to,
Look into it.
In other words, I can put all the child pornography in theory, and you can't track it to me.
Yes, it can be tracked to you, absolutely. So that's not true.
We should really have a professional here to explain it to us before we make a decision.
Just have to ask AT&T.
I like the idea, but it's,
Not a professional from AT&T and outside source.
The only thing I request from the board is that every board member is a courtesy to the people in the audience to show up by 7:30, be seated, and be ready to go. Not 5 minutes late, it's not 10 minutes late, not 15 minutes late. If the people come here and they're on time, then the board should have the respect for the people that they represent to be here on time.
Right.
Joe will look into it, okay?
That's all I'm asking is for the board to please look into the issue. Look into it with
Look
experts.
into it.
Yeah.
Look into
Also,
look into it.
AT&T is slow.
It's true.
AT&T
Would
is
you agree
Wi-Fi
with that,
is slow.
gentleman in the back?
Yeah, I mean, Verizon.
AT&T significantly.
You know, I deal with a lot of networks. I have 50 passwords for Wyeth, Her. I mean, I deal with all the pharmaceutical companies. When your password out, I mean, I know when I'm on that system, you can have an administrator, whoever in charge of that, can see where people are going. I mean, that's what computer systems set up for. But you know, individual Wi-Fi accounts. I mean, you know, and also you have to worry about overloading the system too on Wi-Fi. So I mean, you might have to get some.
So it's not practical, is what you're saying?
You can look into it. You might have to get a couple.
Do other condominiums have it?
So.
Well, there's
Is it
downtown
done?
Fort Lauderdale has it.
Yeah, but also two others too. When I'm inside buildings here with my cell phone, I can't get a
It's
signal.
worth looking into.
I have AT&T.
Yeah, you
Can't
check
get a
into
signal.
it.
Sometimes
Well,
it goes out. So if you get Wi-Fi,
Harry,
Wi-Fi runs off
the
system.
entire city of Wilton Manor has Wi-Fi. The entire city.
Okay. Here, I'll end this discussion by saying, we're gonna look into it immediately and see if it's practical and see what the liability would be if something did go wrong and someone put pornography out there. How would we be responsible if this could happen?
You get calls to the office saying, our Wi-Fi is not working, can you fix it?
Will this affect that contract?
Wait, that's not true, because right now, what if cable isn't working, nobody calls the office, they call Comcast.
Right.
So why would it be different for internet?
Because it's gonna be by the village given to the people.
But I'm saying, how would that be any different than if your cable, well, my cable goes out, I call the office, they say, call Comcast.
Yeah.
That's what they do, it just happened 2 days ago.
I always called Comcast correctly.
Right, so with internet, I don't see why.
We can look into it.
Let's look into it, yeah.
It won't hurt to look into it.
I look into it.
Terry, different question. As I go around the property and if I see one of those globes broken, tilted, whatever, who should I report that to?
You can report it to either myself or George and it will be fixed promptly.
Okay.
Yes. We've been doing that. We've been tagging them. You see little tags on there, that's for a light out or a broken light. I don't think there are any broken yet. And plus,
There was just one on the way here.
plus every light is now lit in this whole village as far as I know.
There's a couple out on the
Couple
wall.
out, well, we're gonna tag them.
One of the sodium lights has been out for a long time,
All
right
right.
in front.
I'll have Elwood tag it. He
By the
goes
way,
around and looks.
I did notice that there was an attempt to keep the colors the same along one line, and whoever is responsible for that, thank you. I've been asking for that for years.
Terry,
Yeah.
the interlocking elevator has been without a safety inspection certificate for 2 years. I discussed this with the property manager, and she said, correct me if I'm wrong, we can't do anything about it. It's up to the elevator company to do something about it. And if they won't or can't, we need to look into getting another elevator company that can do something about it.
No, what was said was because we can't call in the permits, it's still underneath a final inspection. It needs a final inspection from the company that did the work. That's the only holdup. Once we get the final inspection, they will come out, do the final, and they will allow us to get our certificate.
But being that it's 2 years, I mean, we gotta go beyond
We,
that.
It
no,
is 2
we
years.
just did, but we just upgraded all the elevators, Terry.
Okay.
That's the,
Or the clubhouse is closed at that extent.
At the end of the shift.
They take it as it's supposed to be like one
No,
side.
at the end of the shift, at the end of the shift, at the end of each shift.
Between 10:30 to 11,
Yeah.
the time is closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the shift's over and the clubhouse is closed, that's when they're supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
10:30.
Yeah.
I would,
Clubhouse
I would,
10:30, between 10:30 to 11. they got
Well, that's
it.
fine, but I didn't want them, I mean, if someone wants to arrange the chairs, that's great, but I wouldn't want him to, compromise security in the process.
I would like to ask board members to please stop parking in the fire lane in front of the office, if for no other reason, it sets a bad example. Thank you.
I don't do that, do I?
No, you don't.
I think it was me. It was me, right? Was it me?
I do it sometimes
I do it
because
sometimes.
if I have
Lots of
if
you
the
do
office
it.
calls,
I don't
office
do it.
I
calls
know
me
it.
and they need me for like 10 minutes, I can't look
Don't
for
do
10,
it.
15 minutes for
Hey,
a
you're
second.
setting a bad example. All right, next time it isn't.
No, I know, man.
Go back on the security issue.
I introduced Officer Marto when you first came on board. Steve and I had brought him in here. He was our condo association rep for Laurel Hill. Now he came, part of what his job is, he did a complete survey of this place. One of the issues he found was very poor lighting, which they view as their safety at that point. Also, we redesigned the whole front entrance, okay, because, you know, think about it. If we have somebody that we don't want to come in here, we have to let them on the property to turn around. And I've seen it many times, especially with a motorcycle coming in, they just take off. And, you know, there was no rover at the time to go find him. He can't leave his post, he or she, out there. I would like to bring Officer Marto back in and see where, you know, where we're at with that. I don't know when the last time you talked to him.
3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago.
I just don't understand the problem with getting the police in here. If you have somebody as a rep here to deal with the police, because I'll go talk to the chief, can't you? I mean, you know, I had all the names from Officer Marta who to deal with. They should be able to come in here. If we have to redo the paperwork, let's redo the paperwork.
That was not one thing that he said that we needed to do.
Sure. With regard to security, I know we set up some standards at the gate where we copy people's licenses and we keep a record, and supposedly it goes to the office the next day. How come we still can't establish a roster of who lives here? Why is it we can't establish an accurate roster of who lives here when we have deactivated the barcodes of delinquent owners and they have to come to the visitor site? We have a copy machine there. We make a copy of where they're, what apartment they're going to. That's supposed to go to the office the next day. Where does it go from there?
I bring it up to Lisa. Lisa's supposed to give me a back file.
Never been a report, and it goes in the basket, as far as I know.
It goes in the basket? Yeah. All right, I'll look into that.
That's why we don't know who lives here.
All right.
I have a question for Elwood.
Good way to find out.
Just this week,
That's the method we put in place, but it's been circumvented.
Does everybody know that we have a big lawsuit against the village right now?
Well, wait, Doug had a question.
All right, go ahead.
Just this week alone, I had two visitors. The guard gate tried to call me. I wasn't able to pick up my cell phone, so they said, "All right, you're gonna have to turn around." And in the process of turning around, they just said, "The hell with it." I mean, it turns out I wanted them to come in anyway, but they just drove on through. Which, again, I don't mind because they were friends. But if they weren't, what's to stop anyone at that point?
Basically,
from just going through.
Once again, the system at the gate, I'm not comfortable with it at all.
Yeah.
We should have another gate after the first lift. We should have another gate. If you can't, you don't want the person to come in, you should make a U-turn. Now, normally what we do right now with my rover, once the person is not allowed to come in, the guard at the gate notified the rover. The rover come out, he blocked the main entrance, and the guy had to go in. He or she had to make a U-turn to leave the property. Now, if it was a time where the guards was doing around or whatever the case may be, then you know the rover's gonna go ahead and go look for that car. That's basically what happened.
So the gate needs to be
You
relocated.
think we can get a report on why that doesn't happen at the gate?
But basically, that they go back to camera. That's why I need a camera at the front gate.
But we take a copy of their driver's license, see what apartment they're going to. They don't have a barcode, and we don't identify them, and we don't.
It still comes back to a camera, Michael, because if there's no
camera, you know what apartment they're going to, and they don't.
We installed that problem a while back.
Thank you.
The guard took the driver's license, and they had to make a U-turn to get their driver's license back.
Right.
Well, we make copies of people who are visitors, but we don't verify it with where they're going day after day. The same people come in that have never been through the front door with an application.
But what he just suggested is so elementary.
Yeah,
The guard takes the driver's license.
Oh, for turning around, yeah,
Turn
for
around
turning
and go
around,
back,
yeah.
and you can't
That's
go
the
back
procedure
again
for turning around, but what about the procedure for people that come day after day to the same apartments that don't belong here?
That's another question. We're talking about the ones who go through and you get told to turn around.
Yeah, we're supposed to take their driver's license while they turn around and give it back to them.
I want to say, I want to say something
What if they say I
positive.
don't have my driver's license?
I want to say something positive
You should be
about.
prohibited.
I want to say something positive about Elwood's people at the gatehouse. And I watched the gatehouse. When we had interstate security in here, something you would see every day, over and over again, are vehicles getting in to the property simply by going like this, or like this, or like this, or whatever. I don't see that anymore. People are being checked, you know. So they're doing a good job in that regard.
All right, one positive note.
Yay.
We have a major lawsuit against International Village. Is everybody aware of that?
Who?
Elon Weiss.
Yes.
Elon Weiss has
Just
hired a lawyer
Hmm?
that is
this
an
about
attorney of one of our
security?
board
Because I'm-
members, and is being
No,
fed
it's-
information by a board member. We don't know which one it is, but somebody's feeding Elon Weiss information that no way he could possibly know living in New York, and he's got a major lawsuit against the village.
I have a question about that. How are we gonna pay for that, the defense of that case? It may cost us over $100,000.
Well, I think we have the culprit.
Excuse me, before, excuse me. I'd like to talk about security before we switch to a lawsuit. I've had my hand up for a while. Security to me is never gonna be perfect. I personally like what I see, but when you get Elwood last year recommending cameras to Henry, whoever that was, I wasn't here last year, and nothing was done. This year, maybe we could, as a group, decide that we're gonna have cameras, because I think they're gonna help. Whether we can sue people, ticket them, I don't know, but the cameras, if they allow you to see that the same people are speeding all the time, it's gonna help. Cameras we need, so let's not wait another year.
Follow it up.
Pardon me?
You could have a camera, but a plan to follow it up.
But what I'm saying is, let's not wait till Elwood next year says, hey, I talked to, whatever, not Henry, it's gonna be Terry, and nothing was done for a year. You know, let's get the cameras.
And it is the same people,
We're gonna put it on a
it
board.
is the same people who are speeding all the time.
Yes.
Yes.
They're chronic.
That's what I mean.
So we should be able to.
I yell at
deal
the
with-
least
Talking about these cameras 5 years ago, but nothing done, that's, he's right. You don't have tools for working what you want. You want good service, we have to have the tools. What is the tool? Is the camera. The camera.
That's it.
The cameras we need for the buildings, we need cameras for the gatehouse, we need cameras including the back door over there by the downstairs, the jumpers, the people jumping, the people jumping to the walls. We need cameras there. We talking many times already. We talking 5 years, 6 years,
But there's-
nothing done.
George, there's nobody in the room that has said anything against having cameras.
So Terry,
Jennifer
so
said,
even though this
it's
is
on
not
the
informed,
agenda.
we make a point
So then we can
for
talk
next
all
meeting
night,
to have
it
it
doesn't
like
accomplish
3
anything.
bids, so we can get it going.
That's it.
Absolutely.
We'll implement that.
I have it
Just like
for
we're
the
doing.
agenda for the next meeting.
We'll implement that.
But
Both,
what are we gonna?
the
Both,
trigger,
both.
both, the
Yeah,
trigger.
what do we need?
I'll send out an email to everyone asking what they
I already have the invoice.
Let's look
for the
into it
triggers.
now and get a price on putting cameras in. Do it right away instead of saying, we want it, we all want
Here's the
cameras.
thing,
See
it's
what it
gotta be on a
costs.
server, it's gotta be
And how many we can
maintained,
get,
who's gonna
the
maintain it.
DVR, you know, the whole deal. Let's do it.
Dr.
Just like-
Richmond has a thought.
Okay.
These are all wonderful things, and I'd like the board in particular to consider the fact that if you do any or all of these things, it ought to be accompanied by a raise in the maintenance fee.
Because it's not budgeted.
You think about that. We're not gonna take money out of the insurance company for all these wonderful things. If
You have to
it's
reallocate. You don't
There
have
has
to-
been no increase in the maintenance in this place in 3 or 4 years, which I find in this
That's a good
day and
thing.
age almost ridiculous. So I want you
Doesn't mean
people,
as long as I know.
I want you people, if you're gonna do these things, to start thinking about how you're going to pay for them, other than stealing money from some account. It's time to raise the maintenance fee.
It's time to get a budget.
It's a bit.
Yeah,
We don't have a budget.
We don't have a budget. No, we don't.
I don't care whether it goes well or not. I don't care whether it goes well or not.
There's never any notice of a
We're gonna steal the money.
There's no budget and no notice of a meeting.
Mark,
Okay, hold on, about the
Hold on a
budget.
second. Did you?
It's just a suggestion to the board to consider how you're gonna pay for all these cameras and oversight, et cetera, et cetera.
Why not?
Can you come in tomorrow to look at them?
All those way to reallocate.
Don't discuss it now, it's for you people to all go ahead and.
When is that package going out?
Not only that, but
It's
we
coming in
have to
tomorrow
have
to look at the.
waiting the reserves, so we're stuck with
The membership
reserves.
right in the reserves, those 3 things. Wasn't that supposed to go out in the package?
28th.
28th.
When are the rules
There
and
hasn't been-
proxies?
That's
coming
what
out?
that,
And the 28th.
all that's going
What,
to
the
go.
budget, the amendments, and the rules and
What amendments?
regulations?
We didn't vote on any amendments that I know of.
No. Francis, the meeting, I actually don't know if you were there. The board agreed to send out amendments that they would like to the membership. This is the package for the meeting for those amendments to go to the membership.
When was that going, when is that going out?
Just said the 28th.
No, it's not going out the 28th. It's not, no, the meeting will be the 28th of March.
Trader, but can you look into the?
There has to be 2 weeks' notice for the budget meeting.
Yes.
Got plenty of time for the.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
So we
7,
don't
8,
have a
9,
budget.
10, 11, 12, 13,
We don't have a budget
14,
meeting.
15. If we,
No, we don't.
when we send it out, okay, do we want to ask any questions or do we want to argue? If we mail it out on Monday, 15 days is the 28th. I just need Ed to look over the amendments that we got back from the attorney. And the whole package will be going out next Monday.
So you're going to be calling for a meeting of the membership?
Yes.
And only giving that short notice? You know that a lot of our members who don't live here have never got their packet for voting for directors,
Okay, so when would you like?
never got them in time to vote.
We gotta send this thing out, though. We can't wait.
Disenfranchised. That's what we-
They're disenfranchised, absolutely.
Purposely.
How long can we wait to send this thing?
April 4th or April 11th? Pick a date.
April 4th, ASAP, April 4th.
That
You know, that doesn't give them enough time to
That
get
gives them 20
the
days.
information.
Why are you rushing now to get the budget out? It was supposed to be done last December.
Well, it was sent out and it was declined.
We'll be fine.
And then we had to redo the budget.
Send that thing out ASAP. The whole
What about the new rules and regulations?
That's going in there. We're trying to do one meeting,
One mailing.
one mailing.
I don't wanna send out.
With all the mailings that we've done, we're trying to do one mailing for everybody.
One mail, I know
Has
that.
the board approved the new amendment, rules and regulations?
Yes.
Yes.
Send it out when you were gonna send it out, ASAP,
The board
all
has heard the
together,
amendment?
and let's get it
Do
done.
we want to have the budget meeting on the 28th and the amendment meeting on the 11th?
Oh, rules,
Yeah.
but not amendments.
Not the amendment, not
Schedule it up.
No, there's no amendments that's presented to the board.
What's being sent out, rules and
What meeting?
regulation changes or amendments? Both.
Board amendments?
How can you have board members? I've never seen an amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw them. I've been to every meeting. I never heard them. Where are they written down? Are they written somewhere? Right, copies. Maureen, could we get a copy of the new rules you're mailing out?
Absolutely.
That would be a.
I have an appointment tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I have one at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Somewhere either in between there or after 4, you can stop in when you have it.
Okay.
Before it's readily available,
We have
whether
a
they're.
question, let me ask.
Before we decide that we don't have enough money, let's say for cameras or something else based on the appropriations made before, on the sales point of view, I know that I'm looking for units. Not that long ago, there was many one-bedrooms for sale. There was some 2-bedrooms for sale. Right now, there's not that much on MLS for sale. But my guess is there are new people that are gonna pay condo fees. Maybe that will show in the budget, I don't know. But maybe you have a little more owners right now than you had, let's say, 2 months ago on the old budget. That may pay for cameras, for example. But I don't know, I can't vouch for that, but the budget should reflect that. There's sales going on around here. Somebody, Terry showed me.
There's 19 pending sales, as far as I know right now.
Well, 19,
Most in 3
19
years.
condo fees. 19
Are
condo
these
fees.
resales or are these units that are not
And they're mostly
Okay.
foreclosures.
Yes.
Not one of them has been
19
inspected
pending.
or upgraded either.
Most ever, right, in 3 years.
That's right.
That's right.
Most of them are coming in under the
Place, that's
program that,
Where's the program at?
as far as the inspection, they're not being done. According to condo docs, these are supposed to be upgraded for water conservation and a number of other things. There's not one unit been inspected in the last year that I know of.
And we're still allowing them to be rented.
And they're renting right away. There's no enforcement of the rules whatsoever.
That's why we're sending this out to get it approved.
Well, what difference does it make? You don't enforce
That's
the rules.
relevant. Well, we're
The
gonna have
rules.
a committee to do that. You can be in charge.
Well, I'll certainly try to
If
help.
we start enforcing, this is what was told me from the attorney, if we start enforcing the rules and regulations that are supposed to be enforced now, without resending them out, we could get sued for
not enforcement.
Right,
Do they have to be mailed to the
yes,
membership?
they do.
She's doing
She promised me she was dead 10 months ago.
Enforcing the rules and regulations is one thing, but I don't
And
think,
then I was stopped, Miss Francis.
it's,
You told me one time that they were
They were at the
rules were
perimeter.
being copied to be mailed out.
Correct,
That
and
was
I
almost
was
2 months
stopped
ago.
from mailing them out.
Who stopped you from mailing them out?
They wanted them all to go out at once with the amendments.
I never stopped you from mailing anything out. That's only recently, because now all this stuff is piled up, and this was only in the last 2 weeks. I would have wanted those rules and regulations to go out 2 months ago before. But anyway, when are you gonna mail all this stuff out? What-
Monday.
Monday.
okay, correct me if I'm wrong.
Good.
The rules as far as selling a foreclosed unit and then upgrading to code and then being able to rent without waiting 1 year, that is not part of the normal rules and regulations.
No, that's an amendment.
No, that's an amendment.
That's an amendment. Now, that's already in effect.
That's already in
Okay,
effect.
so we can enforce that, nothing to do with the rules and regulations.
That's correct.
Correct, that should be
It's just
being,
not being done.
But it's not being
The bottom
done.
line is, it's not being done, and that's the board's responsibility, and it has been, and you, those who are
I
using
can-
carryover
I can
have
start
done
with-
nothing about it.
I-
And now, it's a challenge.
Okay, to answer Mr. Shankle's question,
Doing buildings at the same time?
No.
Okay, there's one more.
No, it's a
We
trigger
gotta
system.
put them
It's
in.
a trigger system. No one can press the button. They're tamper-proof, weather-proof.
327.
They're scanners,
I
right?
have,
They check.
They scan the barcode.
it's not a barcode, it's a button.
Button.
It's a button.
Yeah, they used to have key boxes, we've had them here years ago.
That's, I heard, I've never seen
Now they have
it.
scanners.
Yeah.
The board card thing, they scan the barcode.
Right.
It's the only way to enforce the rovers to walk the halls. Wouldn't you feel safer with it?
Yeah.
I know I would.
No, I feel safer with the cameras.
Oh, I agree.
We
So
can start
before we
with
get
that.
the
We can go
cameras,
there.
let's start with the cheaper option. We could, and then we'll do both, okay?
It's not like we're spending
$20,000.
$10,000 or $20,000 for the button.
You figured it out.
break the camera and then.
Plus, it's utilizing the guard to his fullest capacity.
Exactly.
We have
We're not
him.
paying them
We're
to
paying him.
they're
Let's
chill.
make sure he does his job.
Yeah.
So have double security.
Double
Plus,
security.
it safeguards us for future
Let's just
lawsuits
put
if
this on the next
I,
agenda.
okay?
Discussing it now is not the proper time. Put it on the next agenda.
I am, but we're
and then we'll
opening
know
it.
what-
But it's good to hear other people have ideas, that's why we're doing this. I don't,
It will be on the next agenda.
Jennifer,
Yes.
you used the word intimidation. That's a good word
Mhm.
for another issue I want to bring up. I have a friend that was hit by a car here in the village and seriously injured. I sit on my balcony, I see cars blowing by there 30 miles an hour,
More than
and
that,
I'm
50
not,
miles an hour.
and I'm not talking about
I agree.
occasionally, a lot of them.
The rover needs to go
Now,
after them.
speed bumps.
Joe will tell you we had
Speed
Lauder,
bumps, no.
Joe will tell you we had Lauderhill PD in
Speed
here.
humps, not.
Humps,
Years
humps,
ago.
humps.
No, let me finish.
let him finish
Let me
that.
finish. Please let me finish. We have Lauderhill PD in here, we met with them. They told us they can't help us with speeders and people running stop signs because our signs were not compliant with DOT regulations. So what did we do? We upgraded all our signs, and after we did that, they still wouldn't help us. Now, a technique that I used to use, which was very effective, it's not going to stop everybody, but it was effective. I used to follow people in the golf cart, and as they were getting out of their car, I would politely explain to them that we have speed limits here, we have stop signs here, and more importantly, we have a fine committee here. I was lying about the fine committee, but when they hear that we have a fine committee, then they think you're going after my wallet, my pocketbook, then they think twice. And a lot of people won't speed, especially in this economy, when you talk about going after their pocketbook, their wallet. I want to know what to hear this. It can be done.
Joe, those are things the rover should be doing.
You can't.
The security, here's the thing. When we talked about security cameras and what Jennifer talked about and about the speed hump, when I first arrived here April 1st, I talked to Henry, who was the property manager at the time. I told Henry, in order to build the community, we're going to need speed bumps. That's the first thing I requested. Second thing I requested were cameras in every building because I'm working blind. Like the woman said, if something, she put her clothes on the laundry, inside the laundry, how do I know who went in there and went to the laundry room? I don't know. Okay, another thing, the backdoor issue, that's another thing we talked about. So all these things that you guys talked about, I talked to Henry about it. I had talked to Michelle about putting cameras at the guard gate in the front. I talked to Henry recently about putting cameras at the guard gate. Terry, I'm sorry, about putting cameras. So everything that you guys talked about, I have discussed it to everybody that I know that I could talk to about putting speed bumps. You know what I mean? Getting up on unmarked uniform police officer out here to catch the speeders, because I do the same thing. I go in the golf cart with my Rover, stop them. Hey, look. He's speeding, slow down. You know what they tell me? Blow off.
Right, wait, Elwood.
You know what I mean? What more you want me to do?
If I'm speeding and you stop me, what could you do? You can't write me a ticket.
Right,
I can't use a finger. You can't touch me. You can't do anything.
We can't write him a letter.
We can write them a letter.
We can find him.
Yes, we can find them.
Sure.
You can't find them. It's a private
Speed
community.
bumpers, we
Like,
have
you
before.
can put a
Why
speed
not?
bump.
We have before.
Did they help?
They take it, you know what, that's Westwood.
I've seen people.
UPS trucks.
We had it when I first
They
made
have
it.
full cars. They broke it,
Yeah, they fly right over.
they broke it, the cars when they come. That's the only we, the city tell us take it out. We have before.
Yeah, we had them
We
before.
have
City
it.
said take them out?
Yeah, the city they take it out.
Yeah, so you
Now,
remember,
something happened, the city put it back outside there. Why you not put it here?
Because of the fire truck. That's why they have to remove the speed bump, because of fire truck.
There's a difference between speed bumps and speed bumps. The fire department does not want the large bumps because it would prevent them from, their equipment from getting to the property. But there's a smaller version of it, which is allowed by law, and that's what we should have.
Is there any kind of radar system that we could use to take pictures of the car?
Yes.
Joe, wasn't
Is
Lauderdale
that
Police
cost
here
effective?
at times
Yes,
throughout the years?
it's camera alone across the line.
Lauderdale Police
$350.
will not assist us or cooperate with us on anything. They never have, they never will.
No, what they sent me when I requested was 2 cops on bikes.
All right, hold
What
on.
are they gonna do?
Hold on a second. Elwood, tell them about that.
Okay, when I had talked to Henry the last time, I told him what we could do is we could get a camera. We could put one camera here, actually 2 cameras that I requested. We could put one in the main entrance when somebody's speeding through it, because I noticed the residents, when they come through here, if they go into the St. Moritz interlocking building, they speed along. Me and Marine stand outside several times. You see people just flying by, or as soon as they make that left turn and the right turn, they go over to the Yorkshire building, they speeding along. We can get 2 cameras. The cameras cost $350. You know what I mean? We could put the cameras in. Anybody zooming by, it will read the tag of the person that we got them on candy camera. You know what I mean? Find
Does it register the speed of
Yes,
which they go?
it's everything.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
$350?
It's called photo radar.
But still, then what? You can't.
Then we can send them a letter and find them. Yes, we can.
We can find them.
We can find them.
We're gonna start a strong fine committee.
Yeah.
We need to start.
All right, well, in that
Some of them go
case,
through 50 miles.
Why can't we give them a ticket?
There's no reason you can't get
We
the
will.
cost.
We'll pass it.
Why can't we tie in with the police department and give them a ticket?
This is a private community.
Private community.
Mark, you can't do that.
That's not correct.
We can find them.
It's like a citizen.
There's paperwork, and we filled it out years ago.
It's like a citizen's arrest.
No, it's paperwork that we file with the city that allows them to come in here, okay, and do the speeding. They have been in here in the past. As a matter of fact, I saw a speed sign up in the last 6 months. So I can get a hold of Officer Mark.
Can they ticket them, Joe?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. We have signed all the paperwork.
Joe, it's been a long time since I've seen any amount of police
That's
presence.
because we don't ask.
They're just not.
Well, that's not entirely true. When I asked, they sent me 2 police officers on bikes, on bicycles. And I asked them how that's gonna help me. When I have people.
If we get a picture of them, can they ticket them? We get a picture of them in a radar thing? Can they ticket them?
Certainly they can take them.
All right, so we get a picture.
There were a lot of
and the
tickets
speed,
issued here
they can ticket
earlier.
them.
We did the
They use
stop
those-
signs, everything's legal.
They use those cameras on for running red lights.
As long as
now.
you're not driving the car.
How could a police officer ticket someone in their own private community? I could tell them they're trespassing if I want to.
First of all,
can't.
you
Why
need to
can't
know
I?
who the
No.
driver
Because
is,
we've signed all
and
the
they can say it's
paperwork.
a neighborhood.
No,
Right.
Michelle, it doesn't matter. You
Absolutely.
ticket the car.
Did it years
They're
ago.
ticketing cars now.
So once you've
two
given
of
them
mine
permission,
just went
then-
through a red light.
Yes.
The cop, the camera took a picture. We're going through the red light. They sent her the ticket. They sent her the fine. It was ticketed. The car was ticketed, not the driver. There's no points. It was $120.
Yes, Lisa.
I was the pedestrian that was hit. Okay, Annie and I had a hell of a recovery to get to the point walking and functioning like I have. And the thing about it, you know, the village was very lucky that there was no lawsuits involved. But, you know, to walk out there anywhere, and most people see me out walking, it is scary.
I don't walk out there for that reason.
Okay, it is extremely scary,
Yeah.
you know, and to see people
I know.
who were my so-called best friends still would speed by. Oh, that has to do with some other driver. That didn't have to do with me.
Can you explain to us where you were headed? Was it in front of the village or in
The intersection right here, I was heading out the gate to get a ride.
out of the gate? So you were off the property?
No, I was on this side.
You were on this side. You got
Okay.
She got
The
hit
guy
before
came
that.
in speeding, running the stop sign, and upset about something.
Was he talking on a cell phone?
I don't know. Okay, but, you know, there are no sidewalks here. Like I said, people speed, they run stop signs, they're talking on their phone, they're this, they're, manicuring
I
their nails.
wish we had some kind of a.
And the
walkway
thing about it,
You know,
I would
that's
hate.
hazardous.
Wait, Terry, I would hate for what happened to me. 2 surgeries later, lots of rehab, lots of recovery, for it to happen to anyone else.
I wish we had
And
some kind
equally,
of.
for it to happen to me again.
But what I'm saying is, especially there, it's really hard to get out. We should have some kind of a, there's
What are we
always
gonna do
some
now?
kind of a walkway to get out and, I don't know, something to get out.
Did he hit you in the rear or in the front?
That would be in the front, though, where the gate is.
Facing it?
Okay. The other thing that comes back to clubhouse security. Did you get their attention? Okay.
Guys, hold on, she has one more thing to say.
Back to the clubhouse security. I understand that it's like important to keep the pool deck clean and, aesthetically proper and so forth. The thing about the guard leaving to patrol is fine because you're checking the bathrooms, make sure there's no one's dead, no one's sick, no one's hurt. Going around the perimeter of the property, clubhouse wise. But the moment they start cleaning, they're doing the pool deck, arranging the chairs, that means that we are unsafe. So if I was a thief casing this neighborhood and looking that every hour or twice an hour, a guard is gone for 10 minutes doing aesthetic work, which is important, but doing aesthetic work instead of making the place secure, then I would pay.
Permit that, the one that's less than, yeah.
All right, okay. So then it's on its way.
No, I can't talk about 2 years prior, but that's the only holdup that we
It's
have
on its
right now.
way. That's-
Yorkshire's fine there.
Yeah,
we did.
because
We
Ms.
have
Francis
ours
brought
up
that
to
to our
date.
attention.
I saw all the others, yours in, but it's on its way. That would be the right answer, I guess.
What's the status of biometrics? Other than on and off and
It's just off. for
it's
now.
screwy and working and.
It's been a headache. I don't know what the status is. I can't tell you. What is the status?
Well, they came out here the other day and they say everything is fixed,
No, it isn't.
but
It's
I've
not
had
fixed.
complaints,
Because
so.
I'm
the
not
cra-
sure what we're trying to
the crazy
accomplish.
part was, before they fixed it, every time and I just test it every time I go up there, every time I ever put my finger on there, it worked. Now, I have trouble
Now
getting
the
it myself. I don't want it on.
Well, I have a question. Why don't we dump it? There's nothing wrong with the system of having a guard sit there and check ID cards. It's worked for
That's
30 years.
That's where it's going. It's
We
heading
pay
in
for
that
that,
direction.
we pay a monthly fee on that thing?
Yeah.
What is the monthly fee for that?
What is the monthly fee?
Did it,
I
yeah,
think
they
it's
they had a.
$150.
With that, we
They
pay for
had a
Wi-Fi.
limit.
It's going in that direction without looking at it.
Terry,
You
Yeah.
gotta sign it.
Yes.
for the $150 a month, we could pay for Wi-Fi.
More often than not, when I come into the clubhouse, there's nobody sitting at the security desk.
Wow.
Yes, and there's always a sign that they're doing whatever.
Yes.
They're not doing whatever.
What-
They've gotta be there.
I'll let Elwood know that.
Yeah, well, that one's right there, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
I've never seen it like that before. There's always been someone.
Hey, especially now, if we're gonna dump the biometrics, it's especially important that someone be at that desk at all times. It's like not having someone at the front gate.
I'd like to add another comment. Frequently when the guard is there, it's sort of a social club.
I know there's a chair there and they're chatting.
It's always been that.
Okay, Terry, I had discussed this issue with you and you told me to bring it up at the next board meeting. I feel that we have to have closed circuit cameras, security cameras in the buildings. We've had 2 episodes of vandalism in the Heidelberg, one day after another. The first one, there was a false alarm for fire. I called the fire department. Someone had smashed the thing and had triggered the lever,
and the thing was going, this was 10 o'clock at night, there are people in wheelchairs, there are people on oxygen, everybody had to be evacuated. Someone had done that as a
Well,
joke.
I'm glad you brought it up, because we'd have to.
What was the second one?
We would have to go to a vote to put cameras in. I mean,
Okay.
I'm a camera guy. Michelle's the one that got it, and I love it. In fact, that camera, we captured the criminal and got emptied out 2 units because of cameras, or we would have never been able to do that. I want cameras everywhere.
Okay, the second vandalism was, I went into the laundry room, 2nd floor, Heidelberg, put my stuff in the washing machine. There was a cushion on the counter. I went back half an hour later to put my stuff in the dryer. Someone had slit open the cushion, and you felt you were walking on white clouds. Someone had slit it, took all the fiberglass out of the pillow. It was all over the floor.
You're the one that found that?
What? Come on, I told you.
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Before we even implement the cameras, I researched online this really good security system. It would cost the village a one-time fee of $1,100. It's a trigger point system. It's made by Security Guard Tour by Aries. I already discussed it with Elwood. Basically, my biggest complaint, and I'm young and I noticed this, security can tell us till we're blue in the face that the rovers are walking the hallways. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
It's not true.
It's not true. I've seen them myself hiding in the cars, reading the magazines, driving by in the golf cart 30 miles per hour, texting on the phone. What I plan to do is buy this system. Like I said, it's a one-time fee. On each floor, there'll be 2 buttons, on the west wing, on the east wing. Okay, this is forcing the guard to hit every trigger point in the building. We'll put one in the back of the building. It keeps a paper trail on every rover, okay? And it also safeguards us for future lawsuits if we're ever sued for someone getting fired, okay? For sexual orientation, racial discrimination, religious reasons. If you didn't do your job, it's in the daily report. The rover leaves, Elwood comes in, here's the trigger, he plugs it into the computer, it prints an automatic report. We name every button. Bordeaux building, 3rd floor west wing. Bordeaux building, 3rd floor east wing. And after the guard does the full tour of the entire neighborhood, he could even take a 30-minute break. We're not going to make him walk the whole night, but this is the only way to get the rover in the building. He parks the golf cart or the car, and he walks the floor.
That's
not
absolutely sorry. Nobody is going to create any kind of an incident if they know that there's a golf
Exactly, because they'll be seen.
And he'll have a different pattern each time, so they can't track the pattern.
That way you're not capturing who's doing any of the vandalism.
And here,
bottom line is when they leave that building, the vandalism can happen.
True, but
you need cameras.
But besides the camera, it's.
Well, I think
We
you're
need
talking
both.
about 2 separate
And here's the thing, the cameras are gonna cost thousands of dollars, which I do agree with that we need, but at least let's start out with this one-time $1,000 fee.
Let's get something
And we
going.
get the rovers walking through the buildings. It will intimidate the people that wanna cause these
Are there
problems.
2